There are billions and billions of stars in our sky. Some are brighter than others, and some bright stars appear to create patterns in the sky that our eyes are drawn to. We call those patterns constellations.
Constellations are patterns of stars visible from Earth in the night sky.
One such constellation I have drawn out here on our wall. This is the constellation known as Aquarius.
In ancient Egypt astronomy, Aquarius was associated with the annual or yearly flood of the Nile River, when the banks were said to flood as Aquarius poured his jar of water into the river, signaling the coming of spring.
The constellation Aquarius is one of 12 constellations that we include in what we call the zodiac. We're going to explain why Aquarius is connected to those whose birthdays fall in the month of February using this model right now. Anytime we use models to make sense of the world or even universe around us, we need to think about the parts of the model that we'll need in order to explain what it is we're trying to make sense of. In this case, we want to make sense of why the constellation Aquarius is seen during some times of the year and not others, and why it's associated with the month of February. To do that, we're going to need a model sun.
The sun is our name for the star at the center of our solar system.
We're going to need a model Earth.
Take a look at my model Earth right now. Can you determine which part of the Earth is experiencing daytime and which part of the Earth is experiencing night? If you predicted the lighter colored side facing the sun to be the part experiencing day, you're absolutely right. That means the darker side facing away from the lamp, sun, is experiencing nighttime.
And we're going to need a model constellation. Right now, in this model, we have an Earth that is tilted toward the sun in the northern hemisphere. This actually represents, the summertime in the northern hemisphere.
As you can see in this illustration, or on a globe in a classroom, the Earth does not sit straight up, but is rather tilted, and keeps this tilt as it moves in its orbit around the Earth. This constant tilt in one direction is the primary cause of the seasons we experience.
I'm going to use both the video we have right now and my own camera to give us some perspective around what's going on in space and what we would see here on Earth by sort of slapping my camera onto our Earth and filming what it is we see at different times of Earth's orbit. If I were to slap this camera and film a rotation, which of course is a 24-hour spin of the Earth on its axis, we would see the daytime, as we see right now, but then 12 hours later, here in the night sky, we'll see the constellation Aquarius.
Let's watch the view from my phone, which would be the perspective of a human looking out into the sky. Here in the daytime, our sun is high and visible, but as our Earth turns, the sun moves out of our view. Instead, the constellation Aquarius rises in our sky, to a point where we can see it. This is the nighttime, 12 hours later from where we started.
Keep in mind that the Earth has what I like to call two dance moves at its disposal. One, of course, is that rotation that takes 24 hours to make one complete spin around its axis and is the cause of both day and night. But we also have the Earth's orbit. That's that circular path the Earth takes to go around the sun. That trip around the sun takes 365 days plus 1 quarter. We split that up into our calendar into 12 simple months to remember. I'm going to right now move our Earth's orbit from this summertime position that we have here to a winter one. Now normally, our Earth would also be rotating, and it would be rotating a lot. It would be rotating enough so that roughly 182 days would have passed between this point and where we started. That's 182 spins around its axis, roughly half a year. Crazy. We're now 6 months on from where we started in the month of August. And as you can see, our Earth now appears to be slightly tilted away from the sun when we're thinking about what people here on the northern hemisphere would be feeling. Now our southern hemisphere, that southern half of the Earth, appears to be tilted toward the sun. We are experiencing winter time at this point in the Earth's orbit. Right now in this position, we have that month of February where the Egyptians believed that the god Aquarius would be coming to bring the flood. They actually thought that that constellation depicted a person pouring a large jug of water out from the source of the Nile and out into their fields. If we think about what we're seeing here, though, I'm going to use my camera again to depict what the Egyptians, or what we will be seeing at daytime and what we'll be seeing at night.
Make a prediction right now about what time of Earth day would you expect to see Aquarius now, here in the month of February? Is Aquarius going to be seen in the night sky at this point in Earth's orbit? Or is the constellation Aquarius going to share the sky with the sun and therefore be blocked out?
So here's our daytime shot. And now the sun is setting.
The moment the sun leaves our sky is when we go from day to night, or what we call dusk. Only the brightest stars in the sky are visible at this time. Do you think Miss P would make a good constellation?
Now we're looking into the night sky. There would normally be hundreds of thousands of other visible stars out in the sky at this time. 12 more hours, the sun rises. And what do we see in our sky? In our model, we can see the constellation Aquarius. But let's keep in mind this other bright object that would also be in the sky. An object that blocks out all of the other stars that would normally be visible at night. We say that this sun, right, is actually in the way of the constellation Aquarius, which is why it belongs in the zodiac.
the sun can be found obstructing the direct view of the constellation of Aquarius between the dates of January 20th and February 20th, which is why this time period is represented by Aquarius in the zodiac. And this is why people born in the month of February are associated with that constellation. It has nothing to do with our personality or birthstone. It just has to do with where that constellation is compared to the sun in the sky. And that pattern that has existed in human civilization for thousands of years. Crazy.